In the heart of Lagos, a bustling city alive with noise, lights, and endless stories, lived a woman many admired, yet few truly knew. Her name was Aduke Adeyemi. She moved through life with a grace that seemed effortless, a presence that commanded attention. People often whispered about her elegance, her charm, the way she could light up a room just by walking in. Friends, colleagues, even strangers noticed how she carried herself, every step measured, every gesture precise, as if she belonged to a world far above ordinary concerns. Beautiful, intelligent, and born into unimaginable wealth. Yet behind the perfect smile, the carefully chosen outfits, and the sparkling jewelry lay a secret she had carried quietly since childhood, tucked away like a fragile vase she feared would shatter if touched. Aduke had everything money could buy, yet something vital eluded her: peace, true, untroubled peace. Every night she faced the same humiliation, the same despair. She wet the bed, something she could not control, something that made her feel powerless despite all her privileges. She would lie awake afterward, staring at the ceiling, heart pounding, shame consuming her from within. Sometimes she could hear the city outside, cars honking, music playing, the distant chatter of neighbors, and she felt trapped in her own silent prison. Doctors tried to help, therapists tried, traditional healers tried, friends suggested remedies, family offered advice, and yet nothing worked. Every solution seemed temporary, every promise of relief fell apart, every hopeful attempt ended in quiet disappointment. One strange belief lingered in her mind, whispered by an old, wise relative long ago. The day a man truly married her, the problem would disappear. But love seemed impossible. No man, not one, wanted to stay with a woman who carried such a secret. The thought of sharing her life, of letting someone get close, filled her with dread. What if they laughed? What if they left? What if they never wanted to see her again? Aduke was terrified. The thought of dating, of letting someone in, filled her with anxiety. What if they discovered? What if they laughed or left or never wanted to see me again? So she hid behind work, endless meetings, charity events, glamorous dinners, hid behind smiles and polite conversation. She immersed herself in the rhythm of her schedule, convincing herself that being busy was better than facing the truth. Yet no matter how many people surrounded her, a deep loneliness persisted. She remembered the sadness in the young man's eyes the last time someone had tried to understand her. The quiet hurt of disappointment mirrored back at her, made her retreat further into herself. She replayed that moment again and again in her mind, wondering why it always seemed easier to hide than to be seen. Days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months. Lagos carried on, unaware of her secret battles. The city's lights glimmered, the traffic roared, and life moved in its endless rhythm. Nights were the hardest, when the city slowed and silence made room for fear and self-doubt. She would sit by her window, watching the distant glow of street lamps, listening to the hum of life around her, and wonder if anyone would ever see her. And then there was Akani. Akani proved to be different: patient, hardworking, honest, kind. He didn't rush her. He didn't judge. He simply existed in her world, a calm presence amidst her storm. Every small gesture, offering help without being asked, a warm smile at unexpected moments, a steady listening ear, made her heart slowly begin to trust again. For the first time, Aduke felt she could trust someone, truly trust. It wasn't just about the secret anymore. It was about being seen, understood, accepted. It was about the warmth of someone's gaze, the comfort of a smile that said, "I am here, and I'm not leaving." Slowly, she realized she had found something far more valuable than any treasure, any mansion, any luxury she had ever owned. Love. Pure, unconditional love. Sometimes, she understood, the cure we search for isn't found in medicine, in potions, or in magic. Sometimes the cure is simply love. With Akani, Aduke learned that vulnerability could be strength, that opening herself to someone else didn't mean she would be broken or abandoned, that someone could care for her, even for the parts she had hidden from the world. She discovered that love was patient, that love could be quiet and steady, not always loud or dramatic. It could be a hand held during a moment of fear, a kind word spoken when hope felt impossible, a presence that simply stayed day after day. And in that love, Aduke finally found peace. The secret that haunted her for so long no longer seemed so insurmountable. For once, she didn't feel broken. For once, she felt whole. And in the heart of Lagos, among millions of stories, hers had found quiet, shining happiness all its own. She began to sleep easier at night, not because the problem had disappeared, but because she no longer faced it alone. Every morning she woke with a little less fear, a little more hope, and a growing sense of courage. Aduke realized that love doesn't erase struggles. It gives us the strength to face them. It teaches us patience, understanding, and the courage to embrace ourselves fully. And in the quiet moments when the city hummed softly outside her window, she finally smiled. Not the practiced smile she wore for the world, but a real smile, one that came from deep inside. A smile that said, "I am enough, I am loved, and I am free." Sometimes when she walked through the streets of Lagos, watching children play, vendors shouting, the sunlight reflecting off the windows, she felt a profound sense of gratitude. Gratitude for life, for love, for the small moments that made her heart swell. And in her heart, she carried the lesson she had learned, that the most powerful cures are not found in wealth or in magic or in medicine, but in connection, in compassion, and in the courage to love and be loved in return. Aduke Adeyemi, once a woman hidden behind fear and secrecy, had finally stepped into a life illuminated by love, peace, and quiet joy, a life she had always deserved and finally claimed.